Hey guys, it's Jason. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to take a quick look at the board game Dungeon. We'll go over the rules and I'll give you some closing thoughts. So let's get to it. So to set it up, the first thing you do is put out the board. The next thing you do is sort out the cards. Sorting out the cards is the most annoying part, by the way. The most time-consuming part, I should say. There are two types of cards, treasures and monsters. You make a pile of treasures and monsters for the 6 different difficulty levels. There's 1 through 6. Space them out so you have enough for a discard of each, because as you play, you'll draw and discard more cards. Leave the cards to the side of the board and also make sure you leave enough space at the bottom of the board here to fit some other monster cards. And also on the other side of the board, within the player's reach, you'll want to keep a pile of these little tombstone things. They come in to play as you defeat monsters, and if you use a wizard, you'll need access to the spells. Finally, you pick your characters. You can be a rogue, a cleric, a fighter, or a wizard. And each one has bonuses and penalties when it comes to battle. The players are placed in the middle of the board, and you'll also need dice for combat. Now on to the actual gameplay. The characters start in the middle of the board here, and each one has a specific goal of gold they need to collect. So as you see, the rogue and the cleric both need 10,000 gold pieces, the fighter needs 20,000, the wizard needs 30,000. After you've collected the desired amount of gold, you return to the starting space and you win the game. So how do you get gold? You find objects. When you defeat a monster, you win an object. You add up the value of your objects. When it reaches that goal, you win. The higher level objects are worth more gold. And just for fun, let's see, here's the level 1s. As you see, they're worth 500, 500, 750. And the level 6, 5,000, 4,000. So if you can go to a higher level, it's not always a bad idea. But unlike regular D&D or Talisman or any kind of game like that where you gain experience and get stronger, you don't on Dungeon. There's really no leveling up. What there is instead are the colored areas of the board, and each player fits a different strength of level. So each character competes better in specific levels. So let's check the instructions here. A rogue, for example, they're safest on levels 1, 2, and 3. A fighter, levels 3 through 5. The cleric, levels 2 through 4, and wizards 4 through 6. So level 1 is the yellow, or what? Yellow. Level 2 is the orange. Level 3 is the red sections. Level 4 is the purple. Level 5 is the blue, and level 6 is the turquoise. Unlike a lot of similar games, you don't roll for your movement. You can just you can just move up to 5 spaces. You stop when you get to a room. So for example, at 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's in a room now. When you're in a room, you encounter a monster. So the way you encounter a monster, you first make sure there's not already a dead monster there, which would be indicated by a tombstone. And if there's no monster there, you draw. You draw the level based on the space. So that's a yellow space, that's level 1. You draw a level 1 monster. Flip it over, and we've got a skeleton. So let's talk about combat. So combat is super easy. You roll a dice and defeat the monster or lose. So each character has, we'll look at the actual card then. Each character has an icon here. So we are the rogue. The rogue needs to roll a 5 to defeat the skeleton. You roll on 2 dice. He rolled a 6. That dice that I'm gonna clear off the table is also a 6. So he rolled a 12. He beat the monster. When you beat the monster, monster goes to monster discard. And you put one of these tokens on the spot, so if another character goes there, there's no longer a monster on the spot. And since it was a level 1 victory, you draw a level 1 treasure. Whoops. There, a level 1 treasure. And in this case, it's a bag of gold. No, a sack of gold. Let's focus in on that. There we go. It's worth 1,000 gold pieces. So player 1 keeps that. Just over here. Player 1 only needs to get 9,000 more gold pieces and then get back to the middle to win the game. Now if, say, player 1 would have lost that battle, what would happen is the monster would then go to the space down here, and we'd put a 1 on the space here. That way, if another player lands on that space, they would encounter this monster here. That little mechanic is, I believe, just so that you don't clutter up the board with monsters, because some of these spaces are kind of tight, you know, and they wouldn't all fit. But there's no monster there because the rogue defeated him. So the rogue's other ability is to break through secret doors. So secret doors look a little bit different than regular doors. Regular door, secret door. To break through a secret door, I guess you're finding it, you're not defeating it, you're not breaking through it, but to find a secret door, you roll. If you roll a 5 or 6, on a single die you find the door, and if you're a rogue, you need a 3, 4, 5, or 6. There's also an item that will let you automatically find secret doors, I believe. If you don't find the secret door, you just stay there. If you do find it, you can go through the secret door, so that's a benefit of a rogue. The wizard also has another ability, and that is the ability to cast spells. So casting spells is only an option that wizards can use. And at the beginning of the game, the wizard rolls a d6 and adds a 6 to it, and that's how many spells they get. You've got 3 types of spells. I don't think these refresh. You can cast 1 per turn. So teleport is the green spell. You can cast it instead of moving, and it will let you move to another chamber that's either on the same level that you are currently on, or one above or one below. You can also use that to avoid combat. The other spells are fireballs and lightning bolts. They work similar ways. You cast them before you go into, oops, I dropped a card. You cast them before you go into the room, so you can stand in the hallway at the door and shoot a fireball or a lightning bolt at a monster. They work like combat, except instead of rolling the wizard icon as 12, like if you're fighting this Draco Lich, you could fight him, you could shoot a fireball over there, and you'd only have to roll a 5 or higher on 2 dice to defeat him. Let's see if we got one with the lightning bolt. So here's one with the lightning bolt. This evil wizard. Wow, she's a tough one. But a lightning bolt or a fireball, you could attack, have to roll an 11. So like in that case, you would be better off doing wizard combat. You'd only have to roll a 7. Okay, and I kind of hinted on what happens if you lose a battle, but we'll go into a little more detail here. Like I said, a token appears on the space, and then the monster that defeated you goes down here. But that's not all. You also roll a die when you lose, and you have several dire consequences. Well, you roll 2 dice, I mean. So you can miss, put the monster's card in the first open number slot. Okay, so that's the monster. You didn't defeat the monster, but he didn't really do anything. If you roll a 6 or 7, you drop a treasure card. If you drop a 8 to 10, drop a random treasure card and move your hero back 1 space and lose a turn. You roll an 11, you're seriously hurt. Drop half your treasure cards. When you drop the treasure cards, they just stay in the space. So there's not going to be a lot of dropped treasure cards, so they don't need to be put on the slot. So you can just kind of like that. They're not like the monsters, I guess. And finally, if you roll a 12, you are crushed. You drop all your treasure cards, take your hero off the board and choose a new one. So you literally can have your character die, believe it or not, in a game this simple. But that is it. I think we got it all. You win, you get a treasure. Here's the little chart again of how to win. I'll just go through like a couple of sample turns. We already did this guy, so let's just have the fighter go 1, 2, 3, whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he has no room he can enter. His 5 spaces didn't take him to a chamber. Let's see, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, the wizard did. So the wizard did, so the wizard will attack, or he'll draw a dire rat. Let's roll for the attack. He rolled a 5 and needed a 6, so right there the wizard just lost the battle. The wizard probably should have used a spell, but the wizard lost the battle. So the dire rat goes down here. And the wizard now rolls for the death consequence. Put the little 1 there instead of a graveyard. Rolls a 2, so a 2 after loss is nothing. So that's good for the wizard. But that's it. You continue to explore the board. You're not limited by any levels. You can find some objects that make your attack stronger. There's a magic sword. So let's look at some of these. There's a secret door card. You can move through all secret doors, so that's cool. Let's see if we find a sword in this. Why are these upside down? Oh well. Okay, so there's a magic sword. So when you find the magic sword, you roll, and if you happen to roll a 12, then it's a +2 sword. So it's +2 to your attack roll, otherwise it's +1. You can only use 1 sword at a time, but if you have a +1 sword and find another sword, maybe that can turn into a +2 sword, and that 500 still counts towards your money goal at the end of the game. But that is all there is to this game of Dungeon. It's a great intro for kids. Let's see, they advertise it at ages 8 and up, and I've been playing it with my kids probably since my son was about 6 or 7, and he did just fine. And it's fun. It was originally by TSR, now it's by Hasbro, or Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro, but they did actually brand it Dungeons and Dragons now, so it's kind of an intro to D&D, I guess, even though it's not really, doesn't have a lot in common with D&D, but should you buy it? Yes, I'd say so. You can find it on Amazon for around $20, and it's worth it. It's got a little bit of replay value, and it's lots of fun. So that's it. I will be back next week with another video. As always, So thanks for watching, and be sure you click that subscribe button so that you don't miss another video. See you next time.